Oh, Piglet, I've lost my honey. Oh, bother.
Ever since I've been a kid, I've been a sucker for a good salad. Even when we were little, we'd come home after school, watch cartoons. My brother would have, you know, like a normal human being sandwich, and I would sit down to a nice bowl of mixed greens and vinaigrette. And actually, one of my first food memories is making a salad dressing. So I thought I would share to you my tips, tricks, and secrets to making delicious salad dressings at home. And I'm talking restaurant quality, baby. All right, so I'm gonna do a simple vinaigrette. I'm gonna do something really kicked up called a buttermilk dressing, and then I'm gonna finish with a classic Caesar. So, my friend, let's boogie. Let's start with a classic vinaigrette. So a vinaigrette is all about the balance. So to start it all off, a little bit of honey. You can put sugar in there, but that honey, that liquid gold, is a great way to add a little sweetness and some good texture to a dressing because it's really nice and thick. And believe it or not, dressings only have a few things in it, but there's a lot. So there's a lot of sugar, a lot of vinegar, and a lot of balancing going on. So for a little bit of kick, some Dijon mustard. And Dijon mustard is great because it'll help bring the oil into the water so you get kind of like an emulsified light vinaigrette. It's really cool. So a little bit of honey, a little bit of Dijon mustard. It does need a kick of vinegar. I like to use red wine vinegar. You can use whatever you have lying around, but the balance of the sweet honey and the kicked up Dijon and then the vinegar is a great start for a dressing. And for some texture, some shallots. Shallots have a really light onion feel to it, and it goes really good with the Dijon mustard. And for some freshness, I love a herb in a vinaigrette. Rosemary, a little too rough and woody. Tarragon, too flavorful. Oregano, not really my thing. But a sprig of thyme is really light, woody, refreshing, fragrant, and perfect in a simple vinaigrette. All right, so there's pretty balance there. You got some sweetness, you got some flavor, you got some herb notes, you got some texture in the shallots. Now, when it comes to the oil, a lot of people use olive oil, but I think olive oil is really flavorful, and I want to keep all of the flavor in the vinaigrette. So I use a really neutral oil. So grapeseed or canola oil will give you great tasting vinaigrettes every time. So I pour it in really slow. If you go too fast, it'll split, and this is a really nice light vinaigrette. So just go slow and mix it up. And it doesn't take much. And these vinaigrettes are great because not only are they delicious, but they'll keep in the fridge because there's so much vinegar in it and Dijon mustard, it'll keep in the fridge for like a week. And then that's super simple. And just to finish it off, to highlight everything, a little kiss of salt and then a few twists of black pepper. It's so simple, but check this out. It's kind of like really sexy and silky and it's put together, but the taste is delicious. It's got like zing from the vinegar, it's got body from the Dijon, texture from the onion and the thyme. So vinaigrette number one, check. Okay, number two is kind of like a creamier dressing. This is, in my family, is like a Southern style dressing, and it starts with a little bit of buttermilk. But the base is some full fat mayo. Mayo is awesome on a burger or a dog, but you can use it as the base of a dressing, and then you can just throw flavor friends at it, and it turns into something really beautiful. But mayo is really fatty, so to cut through the fat, a little tangy buttermilk. It's just delicious. It lightens up the vinaigrette and gives it like a little tang. And then for even more balance, a little shot of red wine vinegar, not too much, just a little bit because the buttermilk's pretty tangy, and a nice little shot of lemon. It's all about the balance, baby. A little Dijon mustard for kick, and again, the Dijon mustard is gonna help that oil kind of whip into the buttermilk. And there's a lot of flavor going on here, so a little shot of honey. Not as much as a vinaigrette, but just a little drop.
Oh, Piglet, I've lost my honey. Oh, bother.
All right, just a little bit of honey.
I'm Winnie the Pooh.
And then I like to finish it with just a little bit of oil, not too much, but it just kind of helps round out the dressing. So whisk it in there and it'll help thicken it up a little bit. That's perfect. And then just to finish, again, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and you could add a lot more oil to this, really thicken it up, and it's a great dip for veg. And I also like some rough cut shallot in there for a little bit of texture, and that onion flavor with the buttermilk and the vinegar and the black pepper, that's delicious. And that's a nice, like, yeah, that's really good. That's a nice basic creamy dressing. Okay, so vinaigrette done, creamy dressing done, and next up, the beast, Caesar dressing. And that's a question I get all the time. Spence, how do you make a really good Caesar dressing? Well, a really good Caesar dressing, like all things in life, are quite simple, but with a little good technique, you're gonna make something really special. So let's do this together. You can't leave out the anchovies in a Caesar dressing. It should be that taste of like, man, that's delicious. Your dressing shouldn't taste like fish. So to balance that out, a lot of garlic. I use a ton of garlic, and then I also use a wand to blitz this all up. So the great thing is, you don't have to worry about chopping anything up. And some Parmesan cheese. Again, you don't have to grate it, just cut it up into little chunks, and then the immersion blender will do all the work for you. So some nice salty Parmesan cheese. And then again, Dijon's classic because it's got good kick and it's gonna help bring the oil into the dressing and make it really nice and thick and creamy. And then there's an egg classically in Caesar dressing, but you just want the yolk. The yolk makes it really nice and silky, and then that's how you get a super thick Caesar dressing. So just one yolk. And then another little tip here is start with everything and then finish with the oil. And as you bring the oil in slowly, it gets really super thick. So for the acid, a shot of red vinegar, and then a good squeeze of lemon. Caesar salad is classic with a little bit of lemon. I put it in the dressing and even I finish with it. All right, some seasonings. Some salt to kind of highlight all those beautiful flavors, and then a lot of black pepper. I love black pepper in my Caesar dressing, so like 20 twists. Count with me now, I have trouble after 11. 12, 13, 14, 17, 19, 20. Okay, that's perfect. Settle down. All right, then get the wand in there, and then this part, you just kind of want to bash it all up a bit. Got the smell, baby. This is gonna be the one. Top 5 for sure. All right, keep the wand going and pour the oil in slowly. Yeah, by using the hand wand, like that is what Caesar salad dressing should look like. It should stick to it. It should not even fall off. Really nice and thick. Dude, that's one of the best ones I've ever made. It's super balanced, it's super thick, it's cheesy, it's garlicky. You don't taste anchovies, but you have that classic Caesar salad dressing. All right, it's time to dress the salad. Okay, just give me a minute, I'm gonna clean up. All right, I'll save the best for last, but for an easy vinaigrette, something that's really simple, because it's so flavorful, I like to keep it nice and easy. So fruit and nuts is great for me when I make a salad. If you want to throw a bit of cheese in there, that's delicious. But just some nice greens, something really crunchy, something fruity. Again, you can put some cheese in it, and then just a light little dressing like that is delicious. And these are great. Make a lot of them because they'll stay in the fridge for like a week. And honestly, you could go buy a bottle of dressing, but I'm telling you, it's so easy to make it. And then if you put it on, the proof is in the taste. And you're gonna have your friends or your family or your loved ones going, he's such a good cook. How does he do it all the time? Simple, it's like honey and vinegar. All right, and then, so for the creamy dressing, I like a wedge salad. An iceberg lettuce has like water content and big crunch. And so just a little bit of bacon, tomatoes, some green onions, and then take that thick dressing with the shallots in it and just kind of pour it on. That is the perfect lettuce and the perfect garnish for a kind of creamy dressing. And then even if you like some goat cheese crumbles or some blue cheese crumbles, that's delicious. And I love that salad because it's kind of interactive. You can put it down, you can cut into it, you can start putting bacon and tomatoes in your mouth. The creamy dressing is perfect for iceberg, and then a vinaigrette, just some nice light mixed green lettuce. All right, and last but not least, the beast, Caesar salad. So when it comes to Caesar salad, if you're gonna make your own dressing, if you're gonna go to all of that beautiful work, why not make your own croutons? And I always make my own croutons. Whether you have some leftover day-old bread or just some bread kicking around, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, put it in the oven, get it really nice and crispy. And the great thing about making your own croutons is I like when they're crunchy, but you can squish them. So there's like crunch on the outside, but they're really nice and fudgy in the middle. And I dress the croutons and I also garnish the croutons. Because they're like half cooked and half fudgy, if you dress them with the Caesar dressing, they're like sponges and they just start to drink up the dressing. Okay. And I always like to overdress it, so I start off with a little bit and then mix it around and to see if I need more, because usually the dressing's so good I just want to drink it. I'll have a double Caesar dressing, no ice, make it hurt. What? Something wrong with your friend. That's right, it's so good in it. The Parmesan cheese helps it get really nice and thick. And I love to mix it all up. And even, like look at the croutons. When the croutons get like that, and they get a lot of dressing on it, and they're half cooked, seriously, they're like sponges, and they'll drink up all of that dressing. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good balance. You gotta serve it in a classic wood Caesar bowl. Why not? And then the garnishes for me are really, really simple. So some more fresh croutons. I was gonna put more dressing into it, just a dollop of new dressing. Just kidding. And then because there's Parmesan cheese in it, and that might be my favorite part about a good Caesar salad. It's like a nice dusting, a snowfall of Parmesan cheese. And even as I'm talking, I'm still continuing to grate cheese. And I won't stop, even if the dialogue does. Okay, that's enough. And then I finish it with a little bit of black pepper. That's beautiful. Come on, baby. Nice fresh romaine lettuce, your own dressing, which is super simple, some dressed croutons, a lot of cheese, and a ton of love. Awesome, so there you have it, my friends. Those are 3 simple salads that you can make any day of the week and 3 vinaigrettes to go with it. So mixed greens with a light vinaigrette with some thyme, the wedge salad with a nice buttermilk vinaigrette, bacon and tomatoes, and the king of them all, Caesar with homemade dressing and croutons. Okay, which one do you think I'm gonna go for? You guessed it, Caesar salad.
Here we go. Rock to the rhythm, go. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause Ghetto Funk has got to be the show shot.